Hey, Truck, was it a false flag? Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, there was a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Was it a false flag? Was this like 48 hours ago, a little less? Donald Trump was on stage at the White House Correspondents' Dinner being charmed by a mentalist when all of a sudden shots rang out. Confusion, chaos, panic. J.D. Vance was rushed away before Trump, I might add. They got Vance out of there way faster than the president. They come back for him. This guy puts his leg over the table like a... For what reason, bro? Guests dived under tables. Kash Patel walked around, I guess, head of the FBI, while his girlfriend was hiding in a room with another man who was holding her hand. Whoa. And then, you know, some uniquely American things happened. This guy, during all the commotion and shooting, just kept on eating his dinner, completely unfazed.
You had Tulsi Gabbard in that room.
People started stealing and looting the alcohol. And of course, people still went to all the parties, but uneasily. After the gunfire, the parties went on, but uneasily. So definitely a uniquely moment. We certainly know how to handle a shooting here in America, folks. We've been through quite a few. But the most interesting thing, the most interesting aspect is what your comment brought up to me, which is that immediately after this attack on Trump and his administration, false flag conspiracy theories swirled in a way that I haven't seen in my lifetime, even with the Butler shooting or any of the other things related to that in my lifetime. This is the most immediate false flag conspiracy theory rising. Correspondents' Dinner shooting unleashes conspiracy theories. And if you go on social media, and this is headline articles, but on social media, it was rampant. All over Twitter, all over Reddit, all over Instagram. Staged. How many assassination can one man choreograph? Why is half the internet saying it was staged? Trump needs to get better screenwriters. We're taking the same show over and over again. All staged. Too obvious. I was there, it was staged. That's not even a highly complex thing to do. This removes all doubt. 100% staged. So staged. Okay, that was the idea. Now, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. I don't personally think this was staged. I'm pretty confident that it seems real. But I think what's more interesting is why. Why is this the mood right now? And why, by the way, are there some uniquely weird things about this one? I want to talk about it all. So let me go into it. First of all, I think a lot of people are intuiting on a lizard brain level that Trump lately has a lot of motive to at the very least make this seem like a big deal. Because Trump is in a polling free fall. I mean, this is a few days, like a day before this actually happened, but an absolute polling free fall. His approval numbers are in complete collapse. Consumer sentiment is the lowest on record, literally the lowest it's ever been recorded. We're going back to the 50s here. People have never been more upset about the economy. This includes 07, this includes 01, this includes the 70s. This includes all recessions. People are extremely upset, and we're technically not in a recession. So it can only get worse. I mean, people are fucking mad. Additionally, not only people are unhappy with the economy, people are just unhappy in general. American self-reported well-being is at all-time lows. People just feel deeply unhappy with the state of their country, with the state of the world, everything. People are just not happy. And so all of this combines to make his position look pretty fucking weak. And the last time something like this happened, it worked out pretty well for him. The last time there was an event like this, it really helped his polling. He won the coveted Mark Zuckerberg vote, okay? He got the lizard vote.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But,
This was the mood around the last time, okay? A lot of people called it badass. Even I made a Big A clip back when this happened. But let's get it out of the way. If the election is between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, Biden will not win. He will not win. It just won't happen. It already was looking cooked, and then Trump got a photo of him in front of the American flag holding up a fist while bleeding from his ear, bro. Even the top comment on my Big A clip was the photo he got is unironically the coldest photo I've seen this year, and I'm not a Republican. This shit goes hard. There's clearly, I mean, I get this, why people are feeling so weird about this one. There's clearly an attempt to lean into this type of feeling again. House Republicans, fight, fight, fight. So of course this guy's like, okay, fine, they staged it. Because there's such an obvious attempt to like recreate the same magic. Barry Weiss and Susie Weiss, who own CBS and the Free Press, put out, this is their big takeaway. My takeaway from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, dudes rock. That was the big takeaway. They're just trying to lead into this whole like masculine energy. This is so cool. He's back. People that use the word vehicle and opine in the Roman Empire. Is that the big takeaway? Additionally, another weird quirk about this thing is that Donald Trump has not attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner since becoming president in 2016. He has skipped it every single year. In fact, I think the last time he attended it was when Obama was president. Trump got roasted in the audience, and like that's considered the origin story of his villain arc.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks.
That smile.
And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
Oh no, Obama, you don't know what you've done. So ever since that moment, Trump didn't attend. And then now out of the blue, he decides to attend for the first time in a decade plus. And something happens, it feels suspicious. And then there's all the weird stuff that people go off into online where it's like, oh my God, the shooter's name was Cole Allen. And there's an account that's been inactive since 2023 that posted just the word Cole Allen in 2023. And this is the only post it has. And if you look at their banner and you break this down, it looks just like the Butler shooting photo. Holy fuck. Wait, what the hell? And then at the same time, you have Caroline Levitt saying shit like this before the event starts.
Ready to rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all.
Okay, so I understand that all of this is like, whoa, in hindsight, but it really reminds me more of this joke by Nick Mullen.
But that was always so funny to me because it's like, what do you think happened, right? Like the fucking CIA was like, okay, plan's ready to go, ready to blow up the World Trade Center. There's only one step left. The clues. Yep. Yeah, it's clue time. It's time to get the clues out there, so we're gonna have the Treasury team up with Mad Magazine.
You know what I'm saying? Like this image right here, this art was made before the Butler photo. It was a year before. So you're telling me this lines up to a photo they couldn't possibly have planned? It doesn't line up to me. And people say shots fired all the time. So I'm not really buying into that. Well, I do think it's weird. This part was weird. I mean, Fox News does cut off.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me. And, right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened. And then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV. You do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some.
They just cut him off?
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell.
But again, the only thing that was like really weird about it, not really weird, the thing that was funniest to me about it was that, okay, Donald J. Trump, let's say you planned all this. Let's say this is all some massive conspiracy to help your polling numbers, to get the attention back on you, and to get the political goodwill to enact your agenda. What are you going to use this moment for that you spent all this planning on? And it turns out it seems to be entirely about the ballroom. By the way, this would be true whether or not this is a conspiracy. This is just people jumping on an opportunity. But it seems to me they've seized this moment at a time of real polling disaster for Trump, and they've seized this moment and used it entirely for the ballroom. Now again, Americans, as I say, are strongly disapproving Donald J. Trump on cost of living. They have never been more angry about cost of living. They are super upset with him. What is the one thing that'll turn that around? a expensive taxpayer-funded ballroom. That's what you're gonna use this moment for. What's interesting is, right before all this happened, a judge had banned further construction on the White House ballroom. There's a lawsuit over it. And he said the only thing you can work on are things related to security-related work. If it's like a bunker or national security thing, you can work on that. Everything else needs lawmakers' approval. Immediately after this attack, well, now they're saying that all of it is security-related work, that this is so important.
We have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons.
The Secret Service has wanted the ballroom for 150 years.
But today's
because it's drone
a little
proof.
bit different. We need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before.
To be clear, the White House Correspondents' Center would not be held in the ballroom even if it were to exist. It's it's about 3,000 people more. You got Lindsey Graham going out there saying,
a meeting space that is secured on the White House grounds that would allow people to do what they did at the Hilton Hotel is necessary. I'm convinced if there had been a presidential ballroom adjacent to the White House, the guy would have never gotten in. We're going to end.
Again, using this moment, every time this happens, the amount of political will you get from it gets smaller and smaller. And so using the drop that you got from this on the fucking ballroom is so crazy. They're already pushing for a $400 million additional package. I thought this was gonna be paid for by the donors for the White House ballroom. And they're urging the lawsuit against the ballroom to be dropped after the shooting. So they're at least trying to capitalize on this moment to turn it into a pro-ballroom situation. They wanted to dismiss the case in light of last night's extraordinary events. Now, what's extra interesting is that coordinated around this is a social media campaign. Now, Ashley St. Clair, I believe mostly known for her guest appearance on Fortnite Friday, but she's a 10-year conservative influencer who was dating Elon Musk, who has now flipped. She has a little clip where she talks about what it's like getting paid to promote concepts like this in the conservative influencer space.
They are given a script, they are paid, and they post it. And the only difference is that they do not have to disclose that it's an ad because of our current laws and regulations.
I mean, it's a long fucking video. She just talks about how there's the group chats, they put in things, you can get paid, and you can say what you want. And so people are cashing in on it. And it does seem to fit when you go on social media and see every single one of these accounts making the exact same push as to this is why we need Trump's ballroom. We need the White House ballroom. Thank God they're building a ballroom. Like, this is not a normal human reaction to a shooting on the president, is that, holy fuck, we need the ballroom. And by the way, this is 4 examples, but there's like a zillion. There's like a zillion of these accounts all talking about the fucking White House ballroom, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you, I think all that stuff is suspicious, but all, in my mind, that lines up with a normal, cynical capitalization on an event. I'm gonna tell you why I don't think this is likely staged, okay? This is a real guy. In fact, he's probably only 2 people removed from me. I think Aiden is probably friends with a guy that knows him, because it turns out he's a fucking SoCal smasher. He's a SoCal Smash Bros player, which is fucking insane. Like, literally, I'm not even joking. I think Aiden has met a guy who's met this guy. That's how close they are. And he's already being punished, by the way, not just by having his face down on the carpet, but because this is what he looked like when he was arrested, and this is how they drew him in the courtroom sketch. They're punishing him hard, okay? And here's why. Here's why I think. Listen, you know, I could be in my head because I've been reading this book. I've been reading this book. It's called Mutiny: The Rise and Revolt of the College-Educated Working Class. This guy had a post that stuck with me. He said, most of the modern political assassins ended up being smart people that are socially frustrated and downwardly mobile, mirrors the French Revolution. And it lines up with what I'm reading in this book, which basically is that we have this surplus of people who did a lot of work getting education and are graduating into an environment with very, very few opportunities. And like I've said before, I am a strong believer that anger comes from unmet expectations. And there's people who have been built up years and years of expectations that are now being violently unmet. And nothing makes people more angry than that. It literally makes people so angry. And so you can go into this a little bit more, but there's math behind this. So look, support for political violence is highest among those with graduate degrees. 40% of those with graduate degrees say violence is necessary to create social change. People who go through these degrees and don't feel like they've received what they want are angrier, are more likely. I disagree, it's not based. I think you guys are whack as fuck for saying it. I'm gonna disagree right now. I think you guys do not want to live in a society where everyone's doing violence, but I'll just say it out loud. I want to put it on record. Anyway, I'm explaining why though. His subject, this is from the book. A lot of them are in their 20s or early 30s. This is the person he's describing. He's like, who is the angriest right now? He's describing it. People in their 20s or early 30s who come out of college with heavy debts and unrealistic expectations. And you could say unrealistic. Unrealistic is probably the wrong word, maybe unmet. Unmet, I think, is a better word, especially based on what he says. Listen to the book. Now let's look at this guy. Let's analyze this guy. So this is his LinkedIn, okay? He has done 7-8 years of college, got a master's in computer science, graduated May 2025 into the worst CS job market in living memory. Is that a sign of somebody who's probably having unmet expectations and is extremely angry? He's a Smash Bros player, so you know he's got problems there. He has a Steam game that had 2 user reviews. He's got Twitter posts where he predicted Kamala Harris would win all the swing states. Do you understand that I think this all lines up to a person who's just extremely, extremely frustrated with the way the world is playing out? By the way, right to be frustrated, I think wrong to go shooting at people, but you understand this, I think this is a very common and more common creation of our times, of a lot of dourly mobile, angry people. And some of them are gonna be crazier than others. I think this is exactly what's going on. Additionally, the second thing that would make this less likely to be a conspiracy is if the security at the event legitimately just sucked. And I think it legitimately did just suck. This is from his manifesto. He said, P.S. now that the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is the Secret Service doing? No damn security, not in transport, not in the event. This is a guy on Hot Mic from Fox News.
I love that they have like 2 random chicks holding the front door open. Where's the guys? We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, what the
Again, the guy just checked into a hotel above the event the day before, brought in guns and a hatchet, and yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking this is just completely poorly planned. Just a failure of security. Additionally, another part of his manifesto that really had me sent. He discussed motives of Trump being unfit for office, a pedophile, and a rapist. This scene really, this is Trump being interviewed about it. He doesn't mention him by name though.
He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I'm no longer
Pause. Watch his eyes again. He jims the camera. Watch his eyes.
Willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person.
That's such a fire line. That's such a fire line. So that didn't go well. That didn't go well. Look, here's what I'll say. I know that a lot of you are more conspiracy brained than you used to be. And I think there are some weird things about this, but there's weird things about any fucking shooting, to be general. I'm of the opinion this kind of tracks. This guy's life tracks with someone who might do a shooting. This all kind of makes sense. I think what's more likely is that this is true, which is that Trump has cultivated a low civic trust. He's a guy who lies all the time. The government is not forthcoming with information or investigations. He habitually tries to use these incidents to advocate for unrelated, unpopular things. And in that environment, conspiracy theories, I think This is a irrational but makes sense response to what environment the world has become. We have a fragmented media environment. We have a president who's constantly trying to shoehorn things to fit his agenda and is doing so with this so quickly that it makes your head spin. And it makes you think it's probably a conspiracy. But I think this guy's just a shooter. However, we're already into another phase of it. Again, tragedies and shootings in America have gotten down to a science at this point where we don't even wait one day before it's now conspiracy theories and blame. And so now we're already pointing fingers at maybe it was the rhetoric. Maybe it was Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's hate speech is the reason this guy did his shooting. There's this post on here that encapsulated sort of what I felt. As I was reading this, this is gonna sound bad, but and this is crazy, for a shooting on a president, regardless of my political opinion on where I stand or whatever, a shooting on a president is major news. And again, the one on Butler, I covered vociferously. But on this one, I was instantly, it's gonna sound strange, but kind of like bored, like exhausted, like I didn't care, like disengaged. Like this one was not, it didn't have the spice that it should have. And I want to pull up this post. This guy, Dylan Byers, he's a journalist who was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And he talked about how after they left the Hilton, after the shooting, he went to a bar with a small group of colleagues to touch base, get our bearings, and watch the news coverage. The TVs there were on a hockey game, and nobody in the bar seemed aware of what had just taken place, mere blocks away. We asked the bartender to change the channel to CNN. They did, and then the bar said, we have a policy against showing political content, and you have to go back to sports. I tried to imagine what the bar might have looked like on March 30th, 1981, an hour or so after Hinckley fired shots at Reagan at the same hotel. I imagined every television would have been on CNN. There would be wall-to-wall coverage. Passersby would have stopped in to watch. But it's unnerving how desensitized some people have become to shootings, obviously, but also to political violence and the abnormality of the moment. People are deeply, deeply desensitized. I called this at the beginning of the year of retreat. It feels like a larger and larger portion of people are just tuning the fuck out. It's too much. It's all too much noise. You know somebody somewhere is screwing you. Somebody somewhere is lying or twisting the facts to fit their agenda. Somebody somewhere is screwing you. And it's just like, why bother? People are pulling away. Attention to news in the US has declined across all age groups since 2016, and that young adults, ages 18 to 29, have consistently had the lowest levels. More people are tuning out. I truly feel this. And I think on some level, some part of it is the fact that this guy, for now 10 years, has been dominating every single piece of news coverage. It's been nonstop, wall-to-wall discussions. And so when you get another fucking shooting where I'm supposed to feel, I don't know, some kind of way, I'm supposed to rally behind him and make a whole speech about how I don't like political violence, which I don't. I'm annoyed. I'm over this guy. I'm over it, dude. It just feels like a push to the point of exhaustion on people's attention spans and interest in this type of stuff, and getting riled up and getting angry about anything other than the fact that basic shit is not working. I just no longer can find the stomach to get into heated debates over who's at fault on rhetoric. I just want to talk about this, bro. This is the only thing that's got to get fixed. Everything else is downstream. Angry, disaffected, nihilistic people are downstream of this. It's not Jimmy Kimmel. And that's what I want to fix. So this is my thoughts as I gave it a weekend to think about the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. And I think a lot of people are feeling the same, but let me know what you think. We'll be covering more stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching.